All right, welcome back. Another episode of our power rankings. This is going into week 17. I'm joined by Sam. Sam, how are you doing?
Pretty good. I mean, rough last night for me, but I won't get into it here.
All good. So again, we're not going to cover any news. We'll save that for Friday's episode. Instead, we'll do the rankings the same way we did last time. And starting it off with 32 through 26. I actually don't know where Sam's picks are. I'm guessing we're both agreeing at 32. It's going to be the Jacksonville Jaguars. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, they
I
don't
mean,
look very good.
there's not much.
They are now the first over. They now have the first overall pick in the draft.
Yeah, so this could be back-to-back years. It's likely going to be back-to-back years with the number one pick. There's really not much that has gone right over there. Trevor Lawrence
Yeah,
doesn't look like he's settling in whatsoever. Um, they really can't stay healthy. They can't have a coach. So it's pretty much a full reset once again. They're not going to be drafting a new quarterback or anything crazy, but it's not too great. At
Did you
31,
hear
who do
that?
you have?
Did you hear that? Dan Quinn, since they're now technically able to interview head coaching candidates. I know you wanted Nagy fired at this point so they could interview early, but Dan Quinn declined the opportunity to interview with them early.
I think there's gonna be a lot of people that decline interviewing early just because now they're in a playoff chase. Whether it's after the season, that's a little bit different. That's kind of more normal, but I feel like they got to focus on getting the best seed right now because that's more
Yeah,
important for them. 31st, who do you have? I'm kind of interested.
I still have the Texans.
So I have a big mover. I have the Cam Newton led Carolina Panthers. I just can't trust them with no Christian McCaffrey. This team looked awful. It looks like Cam thinks that he is the entire team, both offense and defense, because when he throws the interceptions, they're barely even stopping them on that. So I think the Panthers
Yeah.
have just looked awful.
Yeah, they have. I don't know. I'm going over the full season. I know the Texans looked pretty good last week, which I saw one guy be like, you know, Davis Mills has been the most impressive rookie quarterback this season.
It's kind of sad. He's most impressive because he had zero expectations. Who would have thought that he was starting at this point?
Yeah, he has probably the worst situation right now and is looking the best out of anyone, besides maybe Mac Jones.
Yeah, and Mac Jones, that's just a blessed situation to be in. At 30th, I do have the Texans. Who do you have at 30?
I have the New York Jets.
Okay. I have the Jets a little bit higher up on my list. Again, Texans, terrible situation, but I think that they are closer to turning this thing around than a lot of people think, especially as soon as they can get Watson out of that organization or maybe keep him. Who knows what's really going to happen?
Yeah, I mean, they get rid of they can get a package for Watson, maybe have Mills for at least a couple years. He's not looking too bad. And, you know, they have a top 3 or 4 pick in this year's draft.
Yeah, as of right now, they're top 4 or 5.
So, I think it's going in the right direction for the Texans at this point. I mean, the Jets, they beat the Jaguars, so they beat the worst team in the power rankings. I don't give them too much credit for that.
At number 29, I have the other team in New York, though. I have New York Giants. I think it's time to just blow it all up. Gettleman's got to go. Joe Judge will end up leaving with Daniel Jones, new quarterback. This is another dysfunctional organization right now.
Yeah, it's rough in New York. I have the Lions at 29. I mean, they have been looking better as of late. I think they lost to the Falcons by 4 points. I mean, they're playing teams tough. I think this team still believes in biting those or eating those kneecaps, but I just don't think they have the talent.
I have the Lions over at 28th. I just think this team plays better than 2-12-1 team.
Yeah, I agree. For my 28th team, I have the Carolina Panthers, which I think I have them down. I have them moving down 2 spots. Yeah, they have not looked good. This team looks like they just need anything offensive help, which firing Joe Brady, a candidate for head coaching jobs coming into the year, it just shows how bad this offense has been in general.
Yeah, so now at 27, I have the Jets. For every
My
reason.
27 team is the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah, the Jets, I mean, it's been a weird situation because Zach Wilson looked good this last Sunday. I didn't actually know, this is kind of off topic. His 52-yard touchdown was the longest rushing touchdown by a quarterback since, I believe, 2015. I didn't realize Lamar Jackson didn't have a 50-plus yard rushing touchdown.
Oh, he didn't?
Yeah, I looked it up. His longest was 48 of his career. But with that being said, I think the Jets have a lot to look forward to. I think Saleh's still a good coach. So,
yeah,
I have him still rising a little bit.
I think they, Elijah Moore looks good for them. They have what is going to be a stalwart left tackle for the next decade if he can stay healthy, and Mekhi Becton for Wilson. And yeah, I think as long as they can get some more talents in the draft, which I think they still have a couple draft picks, they should be set.
And you said you had the Seahawks at 27?
Yep, I had the Seahawks at 27.
I have them at 26, so we can just kind of name all the reasons for why they're so low.
I mean, they just have not looked good at all this year. I think even with Russell Wilson coming back, this team has not looked good. You blow a 10-point lead in the fourth quarter to the Chicago Bears at home.
Yeah, I mean, granted, it really came down to a missed field goal, but the fact that they even had to come to that situation shows how awful they are. And they're another team without a first-round pick, but I would say they're in the opposite direction of the Bears, or at least the Bears have a younger roster. The Seahawks, it seems that they are just getting older and older, and it's not looking too bright at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, I mean, I just remember early on it looked like they were a dynasty with Russell Wilson and Legion of Boom. As soon as Wilson got paid, John Schneider just couldn't keep that team and couldn't keep talent around him.
It's kind of sad. I mean, they were a fun team to watch, especially with Beast Mode back in the day. Who's your 26 team then?
I had the New York Giants.
Okay. So our
They're
bottom,
falling a little bit for me.
Yeah, so our bottom 7 teams are all the same, which is pretty good, to be honest. At 25, because I think we can skip right over the Giants and their dysfunctional organization. Who do you have at 25?
The Washington football team.
As well as do I. That was just a pathetic performance against the Cowboys. I know the Cowboys are good, but my God, to let Dak Prescott throw for over 300 yards in the first half and really have no answer for them the entire game and not look good on offense whatsoever, it was a very awful game to watch. It made me feel okay about the Bears' Monday night performance.
I did not look. I really didn't watch the game much, but from what I was hearing and from what I read, yeah, the Washington football team looked terrible. I mean, we'll probably get into it later, but I think some people are overrating that performance by the Cowboys a little bit.
A little. I mean, obviously Washington is beat up. You did have them having fights between their defensive linemen on the sideline, so that was pretty entertaining. At least someone was getting hit. But yeah, no, the Washington football team, season's over for them too.
Yeah.
So at 24, I have the Bears. I'm guessing you have the same.
Yep, I have the Bears at 24.
It's weird because I don't know what to make of this team still. And I mean, we're 16 weeks in. Like, how do I not know if this team is going to be okay for the future, if they suck, if they had some bad bounces? I'm not saying they're a playoff team whatsoever, but this team didn't look all that bad against Seattle. The defense looked pretty good.
Yeah. The
defense has looked good, actually, for most of the season. There's been a few games here and there. But, I mean, really with a first-year defensive coordinator and the amount of injuries, and then you have Robert Quinn come back and put up 17 sacks. I believe he's second in the league by half a sack right now. I don't know. The Bears have a bright future, especially if they get some picks out of trading Mack and Quinn next offseason.
Yeah, I mean, I think Quinn's helped out the Bears the most this season, because if they are able to trade him, he actually has some value off with that contract. Where coming into the year, I thought you might have to add a pick to even get him off the books.
You and I were both saying how it was a terrible contract. I still don't think the contract's good, but at least he performed well enough that we might actually be able to get something out of it. I mean, I can't be too upset. He's got 17 sacks, so I mean, what else could I ask for? If you would have told me he was going to have 10 sacks, I would have been happy at the beginning of the year. So I don't know.
Yeah.
They seem like they'll be in an okay position, especially if they can maybe squeak out a first-round draft pick out of Khalil Mack. It'll probably be a playoff team already. I could see the Chargers possibly, but who knows?
Yeah.
At 23, I have the Atlanta Falcons. This is where all the 7 and 8 and 8 and 7 teams start to fall in. Who do you have at 23rd?
I have the Denver Broncos.
Okay, so yeah, Atlanta Falcons, I only threw it in here because I don't know how much I can trust Matt Ryan. I still think that outside of Pitts, their weapons are pretty weak. Their defense has been okay. It's been sturdy enough that they've won games. But I just don't have any trust in the Falcons to make any type of move these final 2 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing with the Broncos. With Teddy Two Gloves out, who knows for how long. You can't trust Drew Lock.
Absolutely not. At 22nd, I have the Vikings. Losing Adam Thielen's a huge deal. Now, I don't know. I just feel like they kind of benefit from having to play the Bears twice and the Lions twice in the season. Obviously, they've only played the Bears once so far, and they lost to the Lions one of the games. So, I mean, it's not even... It just kind of benefits them that they get a weaker schedule year in and year out.
Yeah, I mean, I had the Vikings as well at 22. Losing Thielen, I think, is big for them, because I think teams can start doubling Justin Jefferson. I don't think any other weapons on that offense catching the football really should affect them much. So
that's kind of how I feel. It's kind of a team that they're going to quickly start falling down here. And who knows what the future holds for Mike Zimmer and Kirk Cousins now. At number 21, I have the Denver Broncos.
At 21, I have the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Okay. I mean, for all the reasons we said, Broncos at least have a defense is why I kind of put them a little bit more confidence. But again, they're in a tough division too. I don't think anyone's going to be surprised if they come in last place. I believe that's probably what that will happen. I don't see them jumping over any of the 3 teams. Obviously, the Chiefs can't get jumped over, but I don't know. The Broncos haven't looked too terrible for me to like start dogging them. I just feel like they're not a playoff team whatsoever.
Yeah, I agree. I think their record's a little bit better than what they actually are as a team.
If you give this team a quarterback though next year, whether that is Aaron Rodgers or maybe you sign a guy that actually can play football. I'm not saying Bridgewater can't, but he's way too safe. Who knows what Baker's going to do? That could be a possible landing spot for Baker.
Yeah, or, somebody in Russell Wilson, where the Seahawks might just try and hit the reset button.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Broncos are in a good spot. I don't put Vic Fangio on the hot seat whatsoever. I mean, it's a tough division, obviously, and you want to win. So, I mean, you're going to be mad at him for that. But when you're given Bridgewater and Drew Lock and you're still coming out right around 500, I'd say that's a pretty good season.
Yeah.
20th, I have the Steelers. And you said you had them at 21?
Yeah. 20th, I have the Atlanta Falcons.
Okay, so we can kind of jump into the Steelers a little bit. I don't know what to make of this team. Obviously, it's Big Ben's farewell tour, and they have that one tie, which could end up actually playing a big role into the final standings. I just don't know what to think of this team. If they win the next 2 games, they're probably in the playoffs. But,
Yeah.
Are they any good?
I mean, you can say that almost about half the AFC at this point that is in it for a playoff spot. Are they actually any good, or are they just beating up on teams at the bottom? I mean, outside of maybe the top 2 or 3 teams in the AFC. No one's outside of the Chiefs, honestly, this season. No one's really looked consistent.
Yeah, and the Chiefs had some questions at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they have a nice little duo with Claypool and Deontay Johnson. Najee Harris looks good. Big Ben is kind of an issue, though, with how immobile and how old he really is.
Especially with how bad that O-line's been.
He's playing how you'd expect Tom Brady to play at his age. I mean, it's sad. He's a Hall of Famer for sure, but I mean, it's his last 2 games. I don't think the team will make the playoffs.
I mean, he's playing like a 38-year-old quarterback.
That's pretty much,
or 39, I think, technically.
Yeah, he's the last one out of the 3 in that draft class between Phillip Rivers and Eli. They still playing, so
yeah,
says a lot.
I think he has a year or two on Rodgers, and I think Rodgers is 37 at this point.
Yeah, and how long has Eli been retired for, and he's still going?
2 years.
2 or 3, yeah.
So, or this is a second season, I think.
So I mean, he'll be the next one. End of an era over them. But at 19, I have the Ravens.
I have the Cleveland Browns.
I just don't trust the Ravens. I think that obviously they didn't have Lamar, and then this last week they had Josh Johnson, but I don't know. I don't know what to make of this team. I don't think they're good enough defensively, or at least strong enough defensively to hold teams out of the end zone. We saw what Joe Burrow just did to them. I don't know. I think this team has a lot of issues. I think John Harbaugh is going to need to reevaluate a lot of things on this team.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't help that their entire secondary's hurt for him too. But I mean, the NFL's literally the league of next man up.
Yeah. And you have the Cleveland Browns?
Yeah, I mean, they looked better in a loss. I think the Packers played their C+ game and still came out and beat the Browns. I think they win that game. They win that game if they have a different quarterback than Baker.
Baker's clearly playing hurt. I mean, I don't think there's anyone questioning that. But he's hurting the team by playing.
There was a couple of plays, too, where, Gary or Preston Smith, they just bull rushed their backup tackles into his face, and Baker's he's a shorter quarterback, can't see over him. He has to kind of just fling the ball up, so he's overthrowing receivers at that point. Where, someone like a Josh Allen or even like a Justin Herbert, they make that throw.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks. I like Baker a lot. I think he's going to be a starter for still the next 10 years somewhere. I don't know if it's going to be Cleveland. It wouldn't surprise me if it's Cleveland. And who knows? That team still can make the playoffs, shockingly, with how bad the AFC is.
AFC, anyone from the Broncos on up can make the playoffs in this conference. So
at 18, I didn't move this team much just because they didn't really have anyone playing. New Orleans Saints. I know it was a bad performance on Monday night against the Dolphins, but I'm not really sure how much you can really put pressure on him or on that team. I still think they're decent enough that they could make the playoffs. I think the chances got a lot less likely, but I mean, Saints at 18 seems fair.
Yeah, I have the Baltimore Ravens at 18.
Okay. Yeah,
for pretty much every reason that you were talking about dropping them. I mean, they're hurt, but
every team
the Packers
in the NFL
were facing the Cleveland Browns with 80% of their offensive line, of their starting offensive line out. You got to have next man up mentality, and at some point you can't keep on making excuses for teams because
that's
they were
exactly what it comes down to. At 17, I have the Raiders. At 8-7, they confuse me because they can still easily make the playoffs now, being 8-7. Derek Carr, who it seems like the entire fan base has given up on, could be the reason that they're in the playoffs. So I'm really not sure what's going to happen. I'm not sure what happens with Derek Carr after this season. I actually hope they make the playoffs just because I like the constant freak out of what's going to be the future. Um, so I have the Raiders at 17.
Yeah, I have the Raiders at 17 as well. I think most teams in the league, if you gave them the option of having Derek Carr at quarterback, I think Cleveland, if you gave them the option of having Derek Carr at quarterback, would be like, thank you, and won't look back.
I think Derek Carr is a good quarterback. I have no
I
issue
think
with Derek
so
Carr.
too. I think, which surprisingly, they're talking about how I'll get into this tomorrow a little bit, but it's surprising to me how many quarterback needy teams there are in this league now, where they're talking about all the talent in college. I mean, are college systems failing NFL quarterbacks at this point?
It seems like it. The college game is a lot different than the NFL, that's for sure. That's why all these big-time quarterbacks come from such small schools, nowadays at least.
Yeah.
At 16, I do have the Philadelphia Eagles.
16, I had the New Orleans Saints. They're falling a little bit for me, and it's not mainly because of, I understand they were hurt. I have more falling just because I think the teams that are rising for me are just playing better than them. It's not really saying anything about the Saints.
Yeah. I mean, the Eagles, I like them. I think that they are a talented team. I just don't know how much I trust Jalen Hurts. It's the only reason I put him down here. I think that he does have the leadership ability, but can he bring this team in the playoffs in a clutch situation? We saw what he did at Alabama when he just kind of pulled it up. That's when Tua magic happened. I'm not really sure what to think of Hurts until he proves me wrong, so I'm just going to kind of leave him right at the middle of the league.
Well, yeah. Also with Hurts, I haven't really seen him play much in colder weather. And let's look. Actually, he's kind of lucky with the top teams in the NFC that pretty much only the Packers he'd be playing in cold weather. But
yeah, I just don't know what to think of this team yet.
But yeah, I mean, the Saints, I think they were on Ian Book. I don't give them too much credit. I mean, the Dolphins played well, but Ian Book was starting for them, making his first career start as a 4th-round pick. And He played like a 4th-round. He played like a 4th-round rookie.
That's exactly. At 15 now, I have the Browns. I just feel like they did get screwed over by penalties, and I know most teams do, but even the last play of the game, it was a clear holding. I know you can say that about every play, but it just seemed like they were missing more calls than usual. And I'm not just saying that because I don't like the Packers, but even like my Packers fan family that was over on Christmas was like, I can't believe they didn't call that. Thank God they didn't call it. Packers win, but I don't know. I still don't think the Browns are necessarily out. If they win the next 2 games they're in, they could beat just about anyone with a run game. If Baker's on and healthy, that's going to be the big key. This team could really beat anyone too.
Yeah, I have the 49ers at 15. And again, it's just, I think the 2 teams that are the 3 teams that are jumping them are kind of just playing a little bit better football than them at this point. Where I think Jimmy G is also hurt.
Yeah, he is. So we're going to get Trey Lance.
Which, making his 2nd career start.
Yeah, what a time to make the start. I'm not going to penalize him too much for that yet. We'll see what happens after this week. So they're still higher up on my rankings, but that's going to be a team to watch fall, probably. Yeah. At 14, I have the Arizona Cardinals. I can't believe I have them ranked so low now after the start that they had. But this team just looks like they have a lot of issues.
Yeah, my 14 team, they do. I have them a little bit higher just because, I don't know, they were playing so well to start the year, but
their record is better than 14 team league, but I mean, just watching them play.
I think they're definitely missing Hopkins. I think Kyler needs that go-to number 1 receiver, and without that, he struggles. Kyler's talented, but at this point, he's showing me that he is not a top 5 to 7 quarterback in this league easily. Whereas he needs help around him, which most quarterbacks do. Most quarterbacks aren't Aaron Rodgers, who can beat a New Orleans Saints team with Devontae Adams out.
So who do you have at 14th?
14, I have the Philadelphia Eagles.
Okay.
But yeah, they've been playing a lot better football. Nick Sirianni is, I mean, you might get some talk for Coach of the Year, where a team was projected. I think they were projected a bottom 3 team to start this season, and he's just had this team playing so well to end the year.
I agree. I mean, this team just has come out of nowhere and surprised everyone, and it's been a good surprise, to be honest.
Yeah.
13, I have Miami Dolphins coming off that
Yep.
Monday night game. Yeah.
Yep, I have them as well.
Jalen Waddle is a real deal. I can't believe it. He's better than what was advertised. He's given Jamar Chase a run for the money of being the top receiver in this draft class.
Yeah.
Which, beginning of the season, it looked like no one was going to catch Chase. It looked like Chase was going to be the top receiver out of anyone. But yeah, Dolphins look good. Tua looks real good.
Yeah, I mean, I think Tua is saving the Dolphins a lot of draft capital this offseason instead of making that trade for Watson, where you don't, with the legal issues with Watson, I wouldn't trade Tua and some picks for him.
No.
And use those picks, build up that O-line.
Yeah, and they're going to be right there. They need a running back as well.
You might honestly have a contender. Yeah.
They need a legit running back. They can't keep doing Duke Johnson and Myles Gaskin. At 12, I have my biggest falling team, the Los Angeles Chargers.
Yep, I have the Los Angeles Chargers as well at 12. What
Herbert
horrible
looks like
performance.
he's taking a step back. It looks like the pressure's getting to him.
I mean,
That
it's
was my
one
issue with them
game.
in college too.
It's one game, but yeah, they looked bad this past week.
I mean, this team can easily turn it around.
Yeah,
But-
they have the talent too.
If they lose the next 2, they're screwed.
Yeah.
And then moving into 11th, I have the New England Patriots.
I have the Patriots at 11 as well.
Mac Jones has looked good, but I mean, Buffalo showed that they are still the team to beat in that division after this last week.
Yeah. I mean, losing by 12 points at home to the Buffalo Bills, it's a little rough, especially with, Stephon Diggs telling fans to go fuck off in the stands.
Is that what he ended up saying? Did we actually get to the answer? Because I heard him say "suck my fucking dick," and then I also heard it was like one of those is this dress black and blue or is it white and gold? The other one that they're saying was "shut the fuck up."
Yeah, I think it was shut the fuck up that they got.
Yeah, I think depending on how you listen to it, you can hear either one. But regardless, not a great situation in Foxborough.
But yeah, I mean, I'm dropping them a decent amount from my power rankings. I think they're falling 7. I like what Bill Belichick's doing. I just think Mac Jones was a little exposed this past week where, if everything's not going right around him, I think he might struggle a little bit, especially since surprisingly this team is 3-5 at home. So, and 6-1 on the road. So if you're the Patriots, would you prefer a road playoff game?
Possibly, but depends on where. I don't think I want to go to Buffalo on a playoff game.
Yeah.
At number 10, I really don't have any comments on this. It's the 49ers. Again, I already said we're going to have to see what happens after this week.
I had the Arizona Cardinals. I'm not dropping them as much as you, but they're dropping for me. I think this makes someone's first round matchup a lot easier, and with their luck, it's probably going to end up being like the Cowboys or something.
Before I move into number 9, I'm going to say never in a million years did I think we'd have the same top 9 teams. Not in the same order. I mean, it could be. Who knows? Because I haven't seen your list, but I doubt it. At number 9, I have the Titans at 10-5.
My number 9 team is the Cincinnati Bengals. I have them moving up a little bit.
I have the Titans only because Tannehill looks good. They're going to get Henry back. This team could easily jump up again, top 6-ish. And they'll be a playoff team to watch out for.
Yeah, I mean, you could be getting the team that decimated the Rams on Sunday Night Football.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have the Bengals. I just think the teams ahead of them have a little bit more upside in the playoffs than them. I want to see. I think once you get time, that O line, that weakness of the O line is going to be hurting Joe Burrow a little bit more. Playing these teams with elite pass rushes, like the Colts, the Bills, the Chiefs. But yeah, I mean, I'm kind of happy to see the Bengals in the postseason.
Yeah, I have the Bengals at 8, and I'm the same way. I think Joe Burrow is the real deal. I've been a big Joe Burrow over Justin Herbert guy. I've been saying this since the draft. I said this even through last year's Justin Herbert, like, fantastic rookie season. I said it on Twitter, and I got absolutely crucified for it. All of a sudden, you had all these people tweeting just stats at me, which I don't care about stats. I care about winning. Herbert hasn't shown me that he can do it yet.
Yeah, I mean, their stats probably look pretty similar this year, whereas Herbert came into with the Chargers. I think they traded out for him in the draft.
Yeah, they're at the same amount of interceptions. I think Herbert has 1 or 2 more touchdowns and like 200 more yards, but passer rating is like 8 or 9 points up for Burrow. So I mean, completion percentage I think was like 3% higher for Burrow. So I'll take all those numbers plus the run game. Mixon's not catching balls out of the backfield like Eckler is.
Yeah, I think offensively, I'd take the situation Herbert has in Los Angeles over Burrow's. And I mean,
maybe not for the future, but for this season, yeah.
Yeah. I'm not saying for the future, but, Mike Williams, Keenan Allen. I'd take Keenan Allen over Jamar Chase for this season. Easy. I take Mike Williams over any of those other weapons for him, as well as Austin Eckler is a top 5 running back in this league.
Yeah. Who is your number 8 team?
My number 8 team is the Tennessee Titans.
Okay, so we just flip-flopped them.
Yeah. I just think the Titans, with getting Henry back and Julio and A.J. Brown, have a little bit more upside than the Bengals.
At 7, I have the Buffalo Bills. No one circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills.
My number 7 team is the Indianapolis Colts.
I think you're going to be mad at me for my number 6 pick, but I'll get to that in a second. I like the Colts. I think we'll hold off on that, and we'll hold off on the Bills as well. What do you have at 6?
My number 6 team is the Buffalo Bills.
Okay, let's just talk about the Bills then. Josh Allen, he's coming back into it. The run game is starting to actually take form with Singletary. I like the Bills a lot. I think if they get hot, this is the team that can compete with the Chiefs.
Yeah, I think upside-wise, the Bills have the best chance of beating the Chiefs in the postseason, the AFC. If they're both playing their A game, I think the Bills stand a chance of beating them.
We'll hold off on my number 6 team until we get to your list, but I do have the Tampa Bay Bucks at 6. I'm still not putting them in the top 5.
Because of injuries, or?
I just don't know how much I can trust it. They got shut out by the Saints. Injuries are playing a huge factor in that. I want to see what happens with Mike Evans. If Mike Evans is back, they can compete with anyone. But I think they're going to have troubles in the playoffs if they don't have Evans or Godwin, and they have to rely on Antonio Brown and Gronk.
Yeah, I mean, if Evans is gone and teams can start, and who knows with AB, if he is going to come back and, where his head's going to be. Last year, he was, I think, stayed out of trouble. His name wasn't in the news at all.
Yeah, and that's what ended up going to the Super Bowl. At number 5, we'll just go into that. Number 5, I have the Indianapolis Colts.
My number 5 team is the Los Angeles Rams.
Okay, so Colts, no one's competing with Jonathan Taylor. This team just comes down to Carson Wentz, really. Carson Wentz gets the chance to pretty much redeem himself for going down in 2017.
Yeah, I mean,
he's not putting up MVP numbers, but he is basically able to put himself in the situation he would have been in with the Philadelphia Eagles.
All Carson Wentz has to do with the Indianapolis Colts is be a game manager that doesn't turn the football over and occasionally can throw the deep ball over the top.
Who's your number 5?
My number 5 team is the Los Angeles Rams.
Oh yeah. Well, we can talk about the Rams right away. Cooper Kupp's the real deal, possibly the best receiver in football. Obviously, there's other options there, but you could debate it right now.
I'll put him as the best slot receiver in football.
It's just hard. He's gonna break records this season, so
Yeah, I just think Sean
he's got to be in the
McVay-
MVP race. But I mean, that defense, they can hold down anyone. So I like the Rams a lot. I have them a little higher still. At number 4, I have the Dallas Cowboys.
My number 4 team is the Tampa Bay Bucks. I still trust Tom. I still trust this guy
I
named
trust
Tim
Tom.
Brody.
I 100% trust Tom. It's, do I trust the weapons to catch the ball? That's the issue.
Yeah, I mean, right now, what? Tyler Johnson's their number 1 receiver.
Yeah, it's they have someone else. I couldn't even name their what.
Maybe Tyler Johnson and Jalen Darden are their 2 healthy receivers.
Yeah, it's rough. I mean, if Evans comes back, this is entirely different.
Yeah.
They don't need Godwin. They need Evans.
I mean, I think Godwin's more important to that team than Evans, just because I think Godwin's more of a safety blanket for Tom, whereas Evans can hit that deep ball over the top.
It also hurts that they lost Fournette.
Yeah. And Levante David, the leader of that defense.
Who do you have at number 3?
My number 3 team is the Dallas Cowboys.
Okay, so we'll just talk about the Cowboys then real quick. Dak is impressive. He, as much as I loved Romo and I didn't want Dak to be good, Dak's showing that it was the right decision for them to move off Romo and just continue this train. He's worth every penny. The receivers look good. I don't know how long they'll be able to keep all the receivers there. Cooper's obviously not happy with the amount of touches he's getting in the red zone. He did score this past week. Zeke looks like the Zeke of 2 years ago, not the Zeke of last year. It's going to be tough to beat the Cowboys in the playoffs, which is weird to say. I mean, we'll see what Mike McCarthy does with them, but that might be the issue that they have to overcome.
Yeah, I mean, I'm putting them this high just because of their defense. Micah Parsons is defensive rookie of the year, no doubt.
Yeah, and Trayvon Diggs might be defensive player of the year.
I mean, I think Micah Parsons is more important to that team than Trayvon Diggs defensively.
I don't think that they'll have the defensive player of the year over there, but I mean, he could make a case. Parsons can make a case. I think it's going to go to a linebacker, and or TJ Watt. But I mean, if you consider TJ Watt possibly an outside linebacker,
I think, just consider edge rushers, which, I mean, Micah Parsons can either rush the passer and is also athletic enough to drop in coverage and cover receivers and tight ends, or wide running backs and tight ends.
My number 3 is the Kansas City Chiefs. To be fair, my top 3 didn't change, so I'll just kind of tell you that. It's going to go Chiefs, Rams, Packers. They're the best team in the AFC. AFC's kind of weak. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah. My number, the Chiefs, I think they're playing unbelievable football to start at this point in the season. I mean, they've won 8 in a row.
Yep.
And they've been dominating teams the last couple weeks.
So wait, where do you have them?
I have them as my number 1 team.
Yeah, that makes sense. I didn't expect yours to change. The Packers, I still kept at 1, even though the performance didn't look pretty. Still Aaron Rodgers. Sucks to say that, but it's still Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I have them at number 2, but I mean, they're able to play C to C+ football and still beat the Cleveland Browns. Granted, I mean, a little controversy in there, but maybe if Baker doesn't turn the football over 4 times, that call doesn't matter at all in the end anyway.
That's exactly what it comes down to. So, I mean, that's pretty much our rankings this week. Any final thoughts before we kind of head out?
No, I mean, this playoff picture, who's actually going to get in? The Packers, I know, can lock up. The only scenario I know right now is the Packers can lock up the 1 seed if two things happen this week.
Which is them winning and the Rams?
Nope. So if the Packers beat the Vikings and the Cowboys lose to the Cardinals, they lock up the 1 seed.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I mean, the AFC is going to definitely come down to the last week. It might come down to the last week for the final 3 spots or so. So I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, and once a team gets into the playoffs, anything can happen. Think of the Packers in 2010. Or technically 2011.
That's all I can say. All right. Guys, see you later. We'll have another actual full episode on Friday. This was recorded on Wednesday night, coming out Thursday. We record Thursday night, comes out Friday. So anything that happens overnight. Actually, wait, there is one piece of news that we should really cover. Rest in peace, John Madden.
Yeah, I mean, I think
we're gonna
John
jump
Madden,
more into this on Friday, but I mean that's a very, very, very sad person to miss.
I mean, John Madden got our generation, I think, into football.
Oh yeah, no, I think without John Madden, football wouldn't be nearly as big as it is right now.
Yeah. So I mean, we'll get more into it.
Granted, like there would have been a football game. Don't get me wrong, there would have been a football game. It wouldn't have been called Madden, whatever. However, when you hear the word Madden, you instantly think football. You instantly think NFL. You think fun. You think good times. You think of your friends. You think of championships. You think of everything positive that comes with the game. So, rest in peace, John Madden, 85 years old. Little bit of more local news, but kind of national. Also, rest in peace, Jeff Dickerson, Bears ESPN beat reporter. Only 44 years old, died of colon cancer. His wife had passed away 2 years ago, so thoughts and prayers with their son, who I believe was 11.
Damn.
So another sad one, but that's really the only news. We'll go over more of it on Friday. And if there's anything the league is doing, I know you've seen probably all the tweets and stuff. So
yeah.
All right, that's the end of this episode. We'll see you guys tomorrow. No Thursday night football game this week. It's kind of weird.
I mean,
it's kind of nice.
There's usually not one on week 17.
It's actually kind of nice.
Yeah.
All right, guys. See ya.
See ya.